Good morning. Welcome to next lecture of embedded system. We are continuing our last topic, that is communication standards and protocol. In previous lecture, we have studied serial communication protocol. Now we will study the parallel communication protocol. In serial communication protocol, there are major four types of protocol: I2C, CAN, USB, SPI. But in parallel communication protocol, as it is limited to only computer, we have mostly one communication protocol which is used widely, that is PCI protocol, peripheral component interconnect. So as the name suggests, your parallel bus will be there. That bus is in the computer, and number of peripheral devices are there that are interconnected using that PCI bus. So as the name suggests, that is a PCI peripheral component. Whatever components of computers are there that are connected using PCI bus. Okay, and later on, as the speed demand is increasing, there are various versions of PCI, that is PCI X. So that X stands for the rate of communication, PCI X. So we'll study the PCI interconnection bus, that is peripheral component interconnect bus. So let me share the screen. So as you can see here, this is the block diagram of PCI bus system. So this central line is nothing but your PCI bus. As you can see here, whatever this central line is there, this is your PCI bus, whatever I have highlighted. Okay. Now, so as you can see, this is the processor main unit, the CPU, the coprocessor. As we know that dual core octa-core processors are there. So main CPU, coprocessors are there, cache memory is there, main memory is there. So this is your main computer. Okay. This is PCI bridge. This main processor is connected to PCI bus through PCI bridge. PCI bridge is used to connect the bus to the main computer. Means whatever exchange of data takes place between your main processor and bus, that data may be incoming or outgoing. That takes place through that transfer of data takes place through the bus bridge. Okay. Now to this processor, we connect our audio system, video system, graphic adapters are there, many input output devices like scanner, printer, keyboard, mouse, etc. The LAN, whenever we are connecting the internet connection, the LAN adapters are there. Again, some many communication protocols are also there which are to be connected externally. So there is a expansion card is there, and the SCSI host adapters are there. So many components are there. So these components cannot be connected using the single serial communication bus. So that's why require the parallel communication protocol. So that's why for computer generally we are using the PCI, that is peripheral component interconnect. This is a parallel communication protocol. So we'll see its feature one by one. There is no doubt. But first of all, just understand this block diagram of your PCI system. So in this PCI system, this is the main processor, this is the bridge. Okay, this bridge transfers data from bus to the processor and from processor to the bus. Means any suppose you are using now, you are surfing on internet. Whenever you are clicking on some website, that data from processor goes to PCI bus, and through LAN adapter it is going to the world of internet. And whatever data is cached from the internet, that is first given to LAN adapter. Then from LAN adapter it is given to PCI bus. From PCI bus through the bridge it is given to the CPU. CPU processes that data. Then through again PCI bridge it is transferred to PCI bus, and then it is given to the IO, like your monitor, and then it is displayed on the monitor. So in this way the total processing takes place. So all the devices interconnect or they communicate with each other through processor only, but that exchange of data takes place on PCI bus. So most of you have already seen that SATA cable, that bus bar cable is present in the laptop or GPU. that is the PCI bus. So it is a parallel bus. Okay, that bus can be of 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. Nowadays, 64-bit bus is also available because the speed of communication is increased. The bit size of the program is also increased. Now the 64-bit processors are present. So 64-bit data can be processed by processor at a time. So the size of the bus bits are also increased. So this is the PCI bus. Again, whenever you are using the audio visuals devices that are again requiring the high speed of communication, because whenever you want real-time experience of video and audio, that the rate of communication should be very high. That's why the PCI bus supports this high speed of communication, and other serial communication does not support this high speed communication. That's why we are using the PCI bus in the computer. Many other devices are also there except computer that require high speed of communication. Then also we are using the PCI bus. So we'll list out the general features of your PCI bus. Feature. First feature is your speed. So we are talking about PCI only, huh? Not PCI X. So PCI X generally its rate of speed is around 132 Mbps. This much high speed is supported by your PCI bus. And if in case of CAN bus and I2C bus, the maximum speed is about only 1 to 4 Mbps. So this is the main advantage of PCI bus. Then our next advantage or next feature is the synchronous bus architecture. The synchronous bus architecture. The PCI is a synchronous bus where the data transfer takes place according to the system clock. Means the data transfer takes place using, means it is synchronous. It is not asynchronous type. Data transfer as per system clock. Data transfer takes place as per the system clock. Then configurability. When any new system is connected to the PCI bus, then it is auto configured. Like means whenever you are connecting your, say suppose monitor, there is no need to install new drivers to the monitor. Automatically the device is configured and you can use that device as per your own convenience. So configurability is a very main feature of this. Like your USB plug and play, means when the USB is connected, auto drivers are installed. Because of that, there is no requirement of additional drivers. So similarly, whatever devices are connected to the PCI bus, the devices are auto configured like that. Now, next is multiple masters are there. So as you know, nowadays our CPU comes with octa-core, hexa-core processor. So this is a multiple master bus, like our other serial communication buses. Okay. So whatever masters are there, if 2, 3, 4 masters are there, they can take charge of your bus and send data and receive data from your PCI bus simultaneously. Okay, but data transfer will be takes place for only one master. But when data transfer of one master is completed, the charge is given to other master, and similarly the data is transferred. Data transfer for that master takes place. Okay, so this multiple master bus. Then reliability is the key feature of this. It offers ability to replace modules without disturbing a system's operation. Means what? Suppose these IO devices are there. Suppose your printer is not working correctly. Your printer is not working correctly. Other rest devices are working correctly. So what will happen? You are removing printer. You are installing another printer. But the rest of devices are not affected by for this replacement of your printer. Say suppose your interconnectivity is not good. Whatever other devices, other components are connected to that PCI bus, that rest of components are not affected. So the working of these devices are very proper. Means say suppose what we do generally in our mobile also, if our Bluetooth etc is not working properly, our rest of other features are not affected because of that. So the reliability for PCI bus is very high. So this is the main important feature of your PCI bus. So I'll write here ability to replace modules without disturbing a system's operation. Systems operation. It has ability to replace modules. Whatever, it is not necessary the module is faulty. If you want new mouse, new keyboard, if you want new monitor, then previous monitor can be replaced by new monitor without affecting the. Okay. Now next feature is signaling environment. Now it can support from 3.3 to 5 volt signaling environment. Means some devices may operate on 4 volt, some component may operate on 4 volt, some component may operate on 4.4 volt. So it is not necessary that you should connect a device which has some operating range of voltage. Generally we consider logic 1 from 3.3 voltage to 5.5 volt. Correct? It is considered to be the logic 1 voltage, and 0 to 1.5 volt is considered as a logic 0 volt. So whatever devices, whatever components are there which operate from the range from 3.3 to 5 volt, all the devices can be connected to the PCI bus. So it has signaling environment from 3.3 to 5 volt. 3.3 volt to 5 volt. Next is it support 32 and 64 bit addressing. Whatever I told you, for faster communication, the bit size should be larger. If suppose you want to transmit 64 bit data, correct? If your bus is of 8 bit, then you will require 8 cycles to transmit 64 bit data. But if your bus size is 32 bit, then you will require only 2 cycles. So likewise, the bit size is more, then the data transfer rate is also higher. So PCI bus generally supports 32 bit and 64 bit addressing. Means you can address 64 bit of data in memory. So memory transfer So PCI bus also supports 64 bit and 32 bit. Then our next feature is bandwidth. It has large bandwidth. So all these are the important features of your PCI bus. Okay. So this is our PCI bus. So if we describe PCI bus, we can say that peripheral component interconnect is a high performance bus, which is used to interconnect chips, processor, memory, and the expansion board. So generally PCI bus is used to interconnect different memories, different chips, correct? Different processors and the expansion board. Like we have seen the LAN adapters are there, host adapters are there. All these are all these are connected using the PCI bus. So PCI bus was originally designed by the Intel, and it was previously a 32-bit. Nowadays we are using the 64-bit. Okay, so PCI bus initially invented for 32-bit. Nowadays we are using PCI bus for 64. So PCI bus is the only bus which can transfer 64 bits of data in each clock cycle. Like I said previously, that this is the synchronous bus, correct? This is synchronous bus means the data transfer takes place according to the clock. So within a one clock, 64 bit of data is transmitted at a time. So this is a PCI bus. So PCI bus provides a bus architecture which also supports peripherals and devices such as hard disk and the network cards. So a single network which can be connected to connect the memory card as well as the adapter cards. So memory and adapter card both are connected using PCI bus only. So it is a new type of bus architecture. So a PCI bridge is a net used to connect the cache and memory subsystem to the PCI bus. The main function of PCI bridge, whatever is shown over here, whatever other components are there, that components are connected to the PCI bus through the PCI bridge. So bridge interconnects your processor to the PCI bus. Okay. Now we'll see what is your actually the PCI X bus. Main advantages, you know that it has higher data rate, external devices can be connected, it has the scalable performance, many devices can be connected to the PCI bus, it has advanced quality of service. So all these features and advantages of PCI bus is there. But PCI X bus is also designed. Now what is the main PCI X bus? So PCI X is an idea to increase the maximum transfer rate with running at step up to 4 times the clock speed beyond the maximum rate achievable by your normal PCI bus. Means suppose your normal PCI bus, we have the data rate of 132 bits, 132 Mbps. With PCI X, you can enhance your rate of communication up to 4 times. Means generally about 1 Gbps. So the maximum data transfer rate for PCI X is 1.6 Gbps as compared to your conventional 132 Mbps. Whatever our previous 132 Mbps was there, you can enhance your data rate up to 1.6 Mbps. So that X stands for variable data rate. So in PCI X, one more advantage is provided, that the fault tolerance is improved. Means you know that multiple masters are there. Multiple masters, because of that, the data collision may take place. Because of that, fault may occur. So hence we are using PCI X that can actually use the collision detection and avoidance technique, so that the PCI bus can be taken charge by only single master. So fault tolerance is improved for PCI X over your PCI bus. Okay. So the 32-bit PCI card functions properly in 64-bit PCI X slot only. Nowadays, in a computer, you are directly provided the 64-bit PCI X card slot. Directly slots are provided, but it is down, what you can say, supportable. It is also down supportable, means you can connect 32-bit PCI card or PCI bus in 64-bit bus, 64-bit bus PCI X card. म्हणजे जरी हाय ग्रेडेड सीपीयू असेल त्याच्यामध्ये तुमचं 32 बिटचं पण कार्ड त्याच्यात इन्स्टॉल तुम्ही करू शकता. दिस इज द ऍडव्हान्टेज ऑफ PCI X. So PCI X generally requires higher IO bandwidth, such as gigabit Ethernet, your fiber channel. So most of the cases, whenever this type of networks are there, we are using the PCI X, and in other cases, we are using the general PCI. Your bus means what? Generally, your servers that require the higher bit rate, higher bandwidth. So there you can use the PCI X, but generally in your laptops and CPU, you are directly using your PCI bus only. So this is your peripheral component interconnect bus. So I hope it is clear. So PCI bus.